You may be surprised to hear that, but recently I have discovered the joys of cutting the grass. You see, when I was growing up in Poland, we didn't have grass or mowers. We had goats and sheep and cows, and they took care of all the grass around the house. But this year, for the last 3 months, I have discovered what many men in this country know: the satisfaction of following a mower, inhaling all the fumes, and looking at your beautiful green yard. I have to say, I didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I do. And usually I put my earphones in my ears, play some music from my playlist, and lose myself in cutting the green area around our church. By the way, I hope you enjoy it. I make sure to water it twice a week, to cut the grass at least once a week, because on Saturdays we have the drive-in mass and everybody sees the green grassy area, so I want to make sure it looks good and juicy green. Now, at least 9 out of 10 times when I am cutting the grass, eventually there will be someone walking behind the fence of our campus, and many of the times the person will be trying to get my attention. They will stop waving hands, jumping up and down, and screaming really loud, trying to be louder than the music in my earphones. Now, if you know me, you know that I can be little OCD. Now, once I put my mind to something, I stay single focused. And I will admit it annoys the heck out of me when I have to interrupt something that I'm focused on. So when someone is waving and jumping on the other side of the fence, for the first 30 to 60 seconds I pretend I don't see nothing, I hear nothing, and just keep following the mower. Brum, 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 brum. After a few, usually no more than 1 or 2 minutes, my heart gets soft, my Christian conscience kicks in, and I think to myself, damn it, I'm a priest. I have to behave myself in a priestly way. So I switch off the engine, park the mower, take off the earphones from my ears, walk to the fence, and ask, what can I do for you? Is there anything you need? Usually there is a long story with many twists, how that person just lost her or his job or just left the prison, etc., and they need assistance. Typically it ends with me going to the food pantry, getting them a bag or 2 of food, and sending them on their way. But I am telling you this story because it does not come easy for me to break up and interrupt whatever I'm doing. I really tend to be single-minded once I decide to do something. And people who need my attention, people who need food or drinks, they can be very inconvenient when I'm focused on a different task. But that tiny little voice in my head saying, hey, you are a priest, you are a Christian, you can't pretend to not see them, does not let me ignore them forever. Yesterday, actually, we were setting the tent for our drive-in mass. And again, I was focused on the work at hand, getting all the cables and putting the tent up, setting the altar. And someone drives in before 3 p.m. The lady comes to me and says, "Father, can you do my confession?" My first reaction was to say, "Can't you see I'm busy?" But then again, a few seconds pass and I say, "Yes, you're a priest. Remember, you're a priest." So I dropped the cables, I left the tent, we went to church, did the confession. And again, the same story. I hate being interrupted. When I set my mind on something, it takes a lot of inner force to pull me away from the task at hand. But, when someone comes to confession, gosh darn it, I will do it. Why am I sharing the stories? In the gospel today, Jesus says, "If you love your mother or father more than me, you cannot be my disciple." It's hard to swallow, isn't it? If you love someone that is close to you more than Jesus, you are not worthy to be his disciple. You can ask yourself, it doesn't sound Christian, does it? Why would Jesus make us love our parents or children less than God? Well, give me a short example. You are having your family for Thanksgiving dinner. You are cooking all day long. You just put a beautiful big turkey in the oven. You are baking your bread. Your house smells great. You are focused on creating the feast of the year. In 20 minutes, all your children, their in-laws will come over and you are very excited. Out of the sudden, there is a ring, ring, ring on your door, and there is a homeless person standing on your doorstep. Now, at the back of your mind, you are thinking how many seconds you can give that person before your turkey turns too brown. And he or she gives you a long story how they ended up on your doorstep and how they need some food or some change so they can get to their home for Thanksgiving. And on one hand, you think, my family is coming any moment. I have no time for you. My turkey is almost ready. My buns will burn if I keep talking to you. On the other hand, the little voice in your head says, "But you are a Christian, aren't you? Doesn't Bible say, feed the hungry? I was thirst, you gave me something to drink. I was hungry, you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger and you welcomed me." And so you have a dilemma. Do you attend to your turkey and the bread and everything else that you do because you love your family? Or do you tend to someone hungry or thirsty on your doorstep? If you love your mother or father more than me, you are not worthy to be my disciple. You see, that person jumping up and down outside our fence when I'm single-mindedly mowing the grass, or that homeless person annoying the heck out of you on Thanksgiving dinner night, is not just an annoying neighbor or stranger. It is Christ. It is Christ himself. And if you cannot love Christ more than your family dinner or more than your beautiful green grass, you are not worthy to be his disciple. It's that simple and that complicated. There are times when we have to choose between staying single-minded on the task at hand or recognizing Christ in the person that is hungry or thirsty or homeless or stranger on our doorstep. It is that simple and that difficult. We cannot love the things we enjoy doing and not love hungry Christ on the other side of your fence or outside your car window when you are waiting for the green light to finally appear in front of you. If you love anything or anyone more than Christ, you cannot be my disciple. In the first reading today, we have Prophet Elijah enjoying the hospitality of a rich woman. Bible says that he was a frequent guest, and finally the rich woman said to her husband, "You know what, Elijah comes here so often, why don't we let him use our guest house?" And I'm thinking her husband thought to himself, "Woman, what are you doing?" And yet they both agreed to welcome that stranger, the prophet, into their home. This is what I'm talking about, seeing the face of God in the person who is knocking on your door. In the gospel, Jesus says, "Whoever welcomes you, whoever receives you, receives not you, but receives me." When you give food to the hungry person, even though you are focused on a very important project, whenever you welcome a stranger in your home, even though you know you will have to clean this guest room before your family comes next weekend, you are not serving a stranger, you are serving a loving Christ himself. Amen.